So here's the engine sitting here. It's now later in the day. That's the feed water pump, one of them. I believe that's the cold water pump. Pumps it up to there, and that's the hot water pump, I believe. It's pretty good size, but that's used when we're running because it'll feed water up into the smoke box there, and it goes through a feed water heater, and then it's put into the boiler against all that pressure. 245 pounds, and it runs through all the tubing in the boiler and over the firebox. It's heated to steam, and then goes through a superheater, and then it goes down to the pistons, and the valve gear is made in Pellet, or the Pellet Company in Swanton, Ohio. They're the original one went out of business, but their name was bought by a machine shop, so they own the name to the Pellet Company. It's a machine shop in Swanton, Ohio. And these drive wheels, as you can see, they're as tall as me, actually taller now that they're up on a rail. But also those white things there, those are actually tires. They're bands of steel that are fitted around the wheels for wear, or they're tires. They can be changed out, but they have to heat them up to do so. They heat them up with something that's called the ring of fire. It goes around it, heats it, and then it expands, and they hammer them off with a sledgehammer, and then heat up new bands and fit them on there and hammer them into place and let it cool, and it heat shrinks on there, and that's how they're fitted. And this is the firebox, the heart of the beast. Each one of those little holes up there are stay bolts that hold the inner and outer firebox together. In between is space where water can be boiled around the firebox itself. This is what's known as a firetube boiler, of course. And then you have the washout plugs here and there, and the ash pan down below. Oops. There's the ash pan. I don't know if you can see down in there or not, all that clinker and things. And then, of course, this is the fireman's side. It gets very warm in there. Looks like Steve's up in the fireman's seat. It looks like it's getting fair combustion now. See how the smoke's kind of gray? That means it's getting good combustion. About half that smoke is mixed with steam, because each time it puffs, it sends it up through a blast pipe to the smoke sack and creates draw on the fire through the fire tubes that run through the length of this. So all that hot air from the firebox, that's what heats the water, and it creates draft on the fire. It'll actually get up to 2,800 degrees, Zach the engineer says, just above the fire, like not the actual fire bed itself, but just above it. It's 2,800 degrees, so it's almost hot enough to smelt steel with. And then we have Timken roller bearings down here. And then there's the piston and the admission valve. Whoop, is it moving? Okay. And here you have the air pumps. And then up above you got dynamos. That's the whistle there. Up on that dome, that's the whistle. And then of course the smoke box here. And this has some netting on the front of it. Whoops, it's spitting water down. But it actually has netting up in the front to break up the clinkers as they come through, and cinders so that you don't start line-side fires, it blowing hot ash and everything all over as it exhausts when it's running down the track. And then of course the Mars light up above. A bunch of valves. And this is the shop. I'll show you the shop real quick. This is the 358. It's a diesel we're working on restoring. It's not far from being able to turn over the motor or the engine itself, which turns a generator, which is what powers the wheels. It's diesel electro, and then you got the 534 back here. Excuse me. This is tool storage. That's an air compressor back there. And storage, sandblasting and paint area. The very back. Dome that goes on the 534. This is one of only 2 Wabash steam engines that were saved that weren't cut up. And that was mainly because, of course, they used it in the steel mills on Taylor Street in Fort Wayne. This has a long way to go before, if it will ever run again. And then that's the pipe storage area, miscellaneous storage, a lot of parts and things. There's a pit down there that we use to get under locomotives and things, welders. And back there's our tool storage. We got a Bridgeport that is on loan or being stored here, and then you got a big radial arm drill. I believe it was donated to us from Sugar Creek, Ohio. It's a radial arm drill. You have the quill drive. I think is what that is. But over here you have this is the Bridgeport. It's being stored here. Big grinder. Let me back that out a little. This is a press. It's just a, jack down press for pressing bearings and things like that. That's a Cincinnati mill that was here, and then we sold it to someone and they sold it back. That's a radial arm drill. They don't make these in the United States anymore. You can buy them rebuilt, but mostly the mag drills have taken the place of these, or they use gantry mills, but they would use these for drilling plates in the old days, for boiler plates. They would put it down there, and this would have this would control the up and down. I don't know if I can get over here to, whoop. But this would control the drill going up and down, the quill drive, and you could put it up or push it out and it would have a self-drive. And then you have this that would move it along like this, and it swivels, and you could move it many different ways. Or radial arm drill. Lights. We have a lot of stuff here we don't always use a lot of. There's air tools for working on the steam engine. Okay. Needle scaler. We use those quite a bit. Sander. Actually, I'm not sure what that is. I believe it's one of the sanders. It's a bandsaw. Lathe. We use this sometimes. It's an NKO. And then here's the wood shop, and here's another little lathe that we have. It's not hooked.